So I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple years ago, I filmed a video on an Audi A5 using only a Galaxy S6 and a smartphone gimbal. I don't know if you guys watched that video. If you didn't, definitely check it out. I'll leave a link down below in the description or an annotation up above so you guys can go ahead and watch that. So basically, I just used a Galaxy S6 and a gimbal, and that gimbal at the time, if I remember correctly, it costed me like 350 bucks. That gimbal no longer works, it's broken, and I've been in the market to find a new gimbal for my smartphone. So I was doing some research and boy, prices have gone down so much. So I recently picked this up. This is the Moza Mini-Me. I've actually owned Moza Air. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that gimbal. I use that for my 5D Mark IV. It has worked great up until I started using heavier cameras. Then I had to jump into the Xeon Crane 2. But anyway, so I picked this up because I'm familiar with the brand. This is not a sponsored video by any means. And 100 bucks. I picked it up for a little bit over 100 bucks. And I was very intrigued with all the features the thing offers. So number one, this has wireless charging, which is something I've never seen on any gimbal. And trust me, at first I thought that was kind of like a gimmicky feature, maybe novelty, but this came in clutch the other day because I was using it literally like the whole entire day, which by the way, battery life on this is awesome. And I needed to charge my phone. So the way that works is you literally just double tap on the power button and then it starts to charge the phone wirelessly. Obviously, if your phone supports wireless charging. Now, if your phone doesn't support wireless charging, there is a USB port on top and you could just use a cable to do that. The other thing I like about this is all of the quarter 20 threads that it has. So it has two on the mount, one on top and one on the bottom. It has one on the back of the handle and then one below, which is what I'm using right now for the actual little tripod. I like this because you can mount microphones, you can mount accessories. You don't really see a lot of gimbals that do this. The other thing is that I like about this gimbal is now that this whole Instagram TV is a thing, you can actually mount this horizontally. So you just loosen this up and then the actual mount will flip horizontal and it works really well. So that was a little bonus. So what I look for in a gimbal is two things. Number one, features and software experience. So obviously we talked about the wireless charging, we talked about the different mounting points. Now let's talk about the different shooting modes. I believe this one offers like 8 different shooting modes and I'll go over a couple of my favorite ones. The very first one is Inception Mode. If you guys have seen that movie, you basically triple tap up here. You'll know that it kind of rotates. I'll show you really quick. So you'll basically use a joystick above and then it'll just kind of rotate 360 degrees. That's Inception Mode, one of my favorite modes. Just, it's a lot of fun. The other mode that I use quite often is Sport Mode. So we've seen these on more higher end gimbals. You triple tap, or excuse me, double tap to the right here, and now it's like really fast. So basically the gimbal will follow you really quickly, great for action stuff. One of my favorite modes because it just follows you really quickly, which is something I haven't seen many other gimbals do. I actually do this a lot. If you're gonna be running and just doing a lot of fast-paced movement, it just gives you a little bit more of an immersive feel. So this mode is actually one of my favorites. The other mode that I like, or I think is gonna be very popular now with Instagram TV, is Selfie Mode. So that one is you triple tap on the bottom here. Let me just load up the camera. Triple tap here and then it'll go into selfie mode. So this is actually useful because if you're doing Instagram TV, you can film yourself. Now the software experience is actually really good. There is a caveat though. Android version, as of filming this video, just released, I think like a couple days ago, the beta version. But other than that, they didn't have an Android version. So it didn't work or didn't have anything at all. So on iOS, it actually works really well. So you can calibrate it. You can do a lot of different things. It shows you the status of the battery. It also shows you the status battery of your phone. There's also a built-in camera app within the app. I know it sounds kind of weird, but basically allows you to do other things that I like. For example, there's a tracking mode where you literally draw a box and it'll track that object. And surprisingly, it works very well. There are a couple things I don't like. One of them, obviously, the Android support is terrible, or it's kind of non-existent, really. The other thing I don't like about it is, for example, if you use the camera app that I was talking about, it defaults to 720p every time you load the app. There's no way of saving your settings. That can get annoying because you have to remember every time you load the app to go to 4K. Otherwise, if you forget, you're gonna be shooting in 720p. I don't know why they haven't created a feature where it just saves to your default or your previous setting, but there's no way of doing that. The other thing I don't like is this little tripod stand. It just feels very cheap. I feel like they could have done a better job. I just feel like you could break this very easily. I'm sure you can get it replaced, and I'm pretty sure they wanted to keep costs down, and this is probably one of the areas where they skimped out, but I don't know, I just feel like I can break this very easily. So that's one area that I think they could have done a better job. But I mean, I guess I could be nitpicking about it because if you're careful, I mean, you shouldn't break it. But other than that, I really like this gimbal. I feel that it's for $100, you're not gonna break the bank. You're gonna get smoother video, you're gonna up your production. I like it, I'd recommend it. One last thing worth noting is the case that it comes with. I was actually shocked or surprised really that it came with a really nice case. I didn't expect that because, you know, for $100, I just don't expect them to give you a case, but that was actually really cool and it's actually really good for traveling. So I felt that it was just worth noting that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also follow me on Instagram at MondoBytes if you guys want to see behind the scenes. Thanks again for watching and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.